Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 5 Minutes for Fighting. I'm your host, Jesse Rowe with Inside Fighting, and we have an awesome guest this week. We're joined by the Ultimate Fighter's Cody Gibson. Cody, what's up, man? How you doing?
Doing good. Just trying to get home.
Yeah. So you're flying back from Boston right now, I assume, right?
Yeah. We stayed an extra day, hung out on the north end of Boston, with all the Italians, and visited, looked around. It was a lot of fun, but had to get home. I got to be back at work tomorrow. So
Yeah, you're going back to school tomorrow, right? You're that's I want to get to that really quick. But are you a history teacher? Is that what you are?
I was a history teacher for about 8 years, and then this last year I made the switch to teaching junior high PE. So
Okay, gotcha. The Ultimate Fighter finale went down at UFC 292. Obviously, it didn't go your way, but it was an incredible fight. I mean, genuinely, a one fight of the night. It was exhilarating. I mean, I was glued to my TV watching it. How did you feel about how the fight played out, the decision, and everything? And yeah, just let's start there.
I mean, I knew what my game plan was going in. I knew I was going to just have a lot of forward pressure and try to put the pace on them. And if watching a lot of film study on my opponent, Brad Katona, he likes to kind of back guys up into the cage and he'll take a shot off the cage, when you're near the cage, and then he's really good. He's a strong guy. He's short and strong, and he'll just try to hold you against the cage and eventually try to drag you to the ground and not do a lot of damage, but just hold you there and kind of kill the clock and slow things down. So my whole thing was I wanted to avoid having to deal with that. So I figured if I just kept the foot on the gas pedal and forward pressure and kept him moving backwards, he wouldn't have an opportunity to employ that kind of a game plan. So that was really my game plan going in. In retrospect, could I have tried to use my length a little more and stayed on the outside and use footwork and try to kind of more be the matador, so to speak, as opposed to just moving forward. Maybe I should have maybe made those adjustments, especially going into that third round. I think I could have made those adjustments, but who knows? Maybe we won one fight of the night. Maybe it wouldn't
Right.
have worked out the way it would have worked out. So maybe he would have
Yeah.
held me against the cage the whole round. I don't know. So trying to find the silver lining in it all. Obviously, the bonus helps and the
Yeah.
contract helps and all that stuff. So
That's what I
uh,
wanted to get to. So, did you get a call from Dana or anything like that? Was there any sort of what was that sort of conversation like behind the scenes where you find out I lost the fight, but I'm still getting a UFC contract? What was your emotion like, and what did they tell you when they contacted you?
yeah, I was transported to the hospital after the fight for a CT scan,
Yeah,
and they were we still don't know the results on the orbital bone, whether I broke anything. But my brain was good. No bleeding in the brain or anything serious like that. So
that's good.
that was good. But I was just sitting in that hospital for quite a few hours in Boston. So um, and my brother was with me, who was in my corner as well. And we found out we got fight of the night, so I was stoked on that. And then in the post fight press conference, somebody asked Dana about it, and he said, "Oh no, we're keeping him. We're gonna have him back." And so
Right.
it was just kind of a flood of emotions from losing a fight and being really disappointed and bummed, uh, and then slowly but surely, as the good news started trickling in, kind of a reversal of feelings. So it's kind of a roller coaster of emotions there last night.
So, just like what's next for you? I mean, you obviously ESPN, Bleacher Report, all of these big name outlets posted stories about you being a teacher, and how your story coming from being a teacher to getting a UFC contract. So I guess the question is, so you're still going back to work tomorrow? You're still going to go back and be teaching until your next fight?
Yeah. I kind of when the whole show came about, I think I found out in January, and then my boss, my principal, was really supportive. He let me take a 6 weeks leave of absence to go on the show. Um, and I kind of this summer, I trained all summer for this fight, and me and my wife sat down and we have, goals for ourselves, about what we're trying to accomplish financially with fighting, with what I got left in fighting. And for me, I said, well, I'm not gonna jeopardize, my family and not go back to teaching this year when I don't even know, what it's gonna look like come, August 21st. I don't know if I'm gonna have a UFC contract or not. So I would hate to like say, oh, I'm not gonna go teach this year and then not
Right.
get the contract and then be in a really tough situation. So I've already signed on to teach this year. I actually taught the first day of school was a week ago today, so last
Right.
Monday, and I met all my students, and then I flew out the next morning.
Oh
So
my God.
I've been gone for 5 days, and so I've got to get back to work tomorrow, and yeah, I'm definitely teaching at least this next year, and then we'll just play it by ear. Hopefully get a couple wins here in the UFC, and then we could plan that when make that decision when it comes. But I love teaching. This is my 9th year doing it, and if I can make it work, just getting up early and getting a training session in, and then going to work all day, and then going in the afternoon for my second session. So if I can make it work, I'm gonna continue to teach for as long as I can. And so, like I said, we'll play it by ear, but I'm definitely going back this next year. You can't leave a school district hanging like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll just make it work.
I saw the video that your students made for you. It was awesome to see. That must have felt pretty good for you, right? Just to get that kind of support from all the kids.
Yeah, that was like the coolest thing, man. One of my
Yeah.
coworkers actually kind of put it together and made it happen, and that was like the biggest little motivational thing right there, to have all the students kind of behind you, and
Yeah.
especially the age group these kids are at. They're like at that pivotal point in life where some of those kids are either they're gonna choose their path, that's 12, 13-year-old kids, or they're gonna find choose a direction to go in. So when I'm able to play a pivotal role in helping them choose the right path, that's important to me. So that was definitely probably one of the coolest things for me. I was getting that video and being able to see that before the fight.
I guess while the fight happened, by the way, I wanted to ask you about this. I don't know if you saw that Conor McGregor, because Katona won the fight, he tweeted out, "Oh, this means that Team McGregor won the Ultimate Fighter." I don't know, what were your thoughts on that? What's your thought on that? And what was your experience like with Conor just on during that show? I mean, it must have been surreal to have him around all the time.
Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, Katona was on our team the entire show until the last 4 days of the filming.
Right.
He switched teams like at the very last week of the show. So, I
Right.
mean, you got to call yourself, you went like 1-8 or whatever in the 1-7 in the quarterfinals. But that's Conor being Conor.
Yeah.
He's not my cup of tea. But to each their own. People live their lives the way they want to live them. I choose to live mine the way I want to live mine, just like he chooses his the way he wants to live his. I've never had that kind of money, so I don't even know what that would do to me. But
Right.
I would hope that my character would prevail from some of the stuff that he does. But he is who he is, so more power to him, I guess. Um, I'm just hoping that this fight with Chandler goes through, because I'm excited for Michael, and obviously the big payday that's involved in that, but also the opportunity to shut him up and put him out. So, and I think that's something that Michael can do and will do if this fight actually happens, which I think it will. So yeah, we'll see how it all plays out in the next few months, I guess.
So you got Chandler. You got Chandler in that fight.
I mean, of course, I'm going to be a little biased.
Yeah. Yeah.
I built a pretty good relationship with Chandler, but yeah, of course, man. I tend to root for the guy who puts his head down and goes to work, So that's what Michael Chandler is about. That's what I'm about. So I feel like more often than not that strategy works pretty well in this game. So yeah, I definitely be rooting for him when that fight happens.
Nice. Well, I'll leave you with this. So what's the next step for Cody Gibson? Do you know how many fights you're going to have? Or are you just going to be, is it just going to be like one more fight, or play it by ear? Like what's going on with the UFC?
No, they actually have you sign so it's a 7-fight deal. And so, I mean, they don't have to necessarily uphold that into the bargain. They can cut you whenever they want to cut you, but
Yeah.
I'm a 7-fight deal with them, and My whole thing is I'm 35 years old and I feel great. My body feels good, but I know I don't want to be having like one fight and then 6 months later have another fight. Like, let's get busy.
Yeah.
I've got to heal up from this facial reconstruction that happened yesterday, but once that happens, I'd like to get in there by the end of this year, November, December, and get back on the winning side of things, and then try to roll into 2024 with some momentum. And I plan on being the most active bantamweight on the roster. I want to fight as often as possible. So I'm looking for big fights too. One of the things I took from Chandler while I was on the show is like everything's about risk and reward, and like for me, like the bonuses are where I'm going to make my money. So expect more of the same for me moving forward when you see me get in there. I'm
Nice.
trying to get bonuses, obviously trying to secure victories as well, but being exciting and putting on big, good fights and a lot of forward pressure. And as long as people are going home talking about your fight, I think that's the strategy moving forward for me.
That sounds like a Michael Chandler fight to me. So that makes a lot of sense. Well, dude, I mean, congratulations. You know, if anybody deserved it under the circumstances, it's you. And yeah, man, I'm happy for you. Congrats.
I appreciate that. Thank you for having me on today. Big fan of your guys' channel. So
Cool.
when you hit me up, I was like, hell yeah, because I've been following you guys. I follow you guys not only for the MMA content you guys put out, but the boxing stuff too.
Yes.
So, yes.
That's dope, bro. Well, thanks so much, man. Thank you for joining me, and best of luck. All right.
All right. Thanks, guys. Take care, man.